Good morning. It is Wednesday, I think. Maybe. So this means we're at the halfway mark. Very exciting times. Very exciting times. If you're like me, you are tired all the time, pretty much. Regardless of what day of the week it is. Get you some coffee. And I guess today I'm going to talk about what I talked about yesterday with some of my coworkers. And it's kind of a joke and it's kind of not a joke. Something a man told me one time, an elderly man, and I've probably mentioned it on videos before. My dad always told me to listen to an older man because he's probably smarter than you. And I had a elderly man one time tell me, the key is to not get excited. And I'm not talking about, you get excited about things you love and all that. I'm talking about emotionally in situations, And let's say, for example, in the workplace. Don't get excited. Okay? In life, with your family, your friends, your neighbors. And I've done this so many times, and it's always been something that later I'm like, man, you should have just waited till you calm down. You should have just waited a minute. Because when we get excited, when we get emotional, like if we get mad or upset or hurt, we will say and do things that we shouldn't, and then later, we wish we hadn't. And I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I was talking about, us women, we're emotional creatures. And I know I am. One day to the next, it's untelling who I'm going to be and what kind of mood I'm going to be in and all that stuff. But we're emotional creatures. And there are times that I've made decisions in my emotions. And thank God they wasn't, real bad decisions or nothing. But I'm sure there's been times I have made some that I probably shouldn't have. But in emotions, we tend to act rationally or irrationally, I guess, when we need to stew on it a little while. We need to, step away. I think that's where people come in with fighting and going on, is they don't step away and need to step away. And that's something a friend of mine tells me all the time. She said, step away, take a breath. Giving a good advice. So, in whatever you're doing, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's in your business, whatever it is, and I'm very easygoing. I'm very easygoing. I don't really get mad often. And I don't get like real mad. Like, I'm not an angry person. But I can get mad. And I can act a fool sometimes. You know, or say something. Especially out here driving on this road. All the yuns around me driving, I'm talking to you, and some yuns can't hear me. But, we can, Scripture says to anger and sin not. And I believe God knows us so well and knows how things are, that He knows and He understands that we have our emotions. We're going to get upset, angry, disappointed, whatever the thing is, the emotion is, whatever. But that doesn't mean that we have to be ugly, treat each other some kind of way, say horrible things, you know, all this stuff. We can be respectful and we can walk away. And I had a conversation one time with a business owner that had been disrespectful and mean to some kids. Ooh, that ran all over me. Oh, I got big feelings about that. And I don't do business there anymore. That's how I am about, you know, treating people some kind of way. But this was kids, like little 8-year-old kids. And this business owner treated them very poorly. And I called the manager and, you know, talked about the situation. And the manager was just ugly. Like, they done nothing wrong. The employee involved done nothing wrong. All this bunch of stuff. And I was like, you have a good day. And I hung up. And oh Lord, I was like, you handled it good because you didn't. Because you can get mad and upset about people, especially situations like that where people treat people poorly. And you can, and it's hard not to get upset, especially when somebody's mistreating children. But you can get mad and upset and still conduct yourself some kind of way that's not like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum, which might be what you want to do. But when people do things and make choices, especially the way that they treat people, you could scream and throw things and act a fool, and they're still going to be who they are. They're still going to treat people the way that they do. And all you're going to do is wear yourself out. And that's the truth of it. We can feel our emotions. We can get upset. We can get angry. We can get hurt. And the best thing I've ever done, because Lord, I've had some times where I've been so mad I can't see straight. The best choice that worked out the best for me that I ever did, how I ever handled it. Now, mind you, I ain't handled it like this every time. There's been times I've acted a fool. Like, I ain't kidding. Acted a fool. And look back and think you were such an idiot. But, the best thing I ever did, best choice I ever made in these situations that helped me the most was going to my prayer closet or my altar and just talking to God about it, pouring it out, saying, you know, they're doing this or they done this, they said this, you know, and just pouring it out to Jesus. And you come down from that and from your emotions to realize that He's the only one that can do anything about it. You cannot do anything about other people. You cannot control them. You cannot Stop evil, but you can overcome it with good, is what Scripture says. But you cannot make people be some kind of way. And we should not. It's one thing I was thinking about this morning. It drives me nuts. We cannot control people. We cannot make people be some kind of way. We need to love them. Okay? We're not going to all believe the same or feel the same. Like, there's people that you can't really talk to about certain things because they're passionate about it. And they'll try to, like, force their way of believing on you. And we shouldn't be that way. We should love each other and be good to each other and go on. But we can have our emotions about things. But if you take it to him, he's going to take care of it. And a lot of times, he's going to straighten you out. And you're going to realize, I don't need to be worried about this. I don't need to be thinking about this. I don't need to be around this individual. Whatever it is, he's going to straighten you out. Because he straightened me out. And I'll forever be crooked. Like, he'll always be working on me. But, like, I gotta sharpen this soon. My sharpener's in another room and another pouch. A lot of times what I found in situations, and I mean people treating me some kind of way and being real ugly, but what I come down to a lot of times, what God had me to do is forgive them and ask them to forgive me and clear me, you know. And they could do or feel however they want to feel. But I can tell you right now, whatever it is, and it's just how I feel. I know there's some bad things happening and going on and have happened. But whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever they've done, whatever they've said, whatever it is, just whatever. It's not worth being in between you and God. And it's not worth you suffering. You been outside? Huh? What's going on out there? Huh? What's going on out there? You having fun this morning? You're wet. See, Mommy, there's dew out there on the grass. Now it's all over you. Love you. There is... all that's going to do is weigh you down. And it's going to be between you and God. And it's not worth it. Whatever it is, it's not worth it. Not worth it. So, we're better off just accepting it. Just love them best you can and go on. And a lot of people, we'll have to go on from, we'll have to separate from. I really believe, I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day. I said, especially around the area I live in and the way people believe in things like that, I believe a lot of times people will jump and be in a hurry and marry somebody, you know, that they really shouldn't. And they'll stay with them and live miserable, and I mean be treated plumb horrible. Because that's how we're taught. That's how we believe. When in reality, shouldn't have got married to start with. And marriage, maybe, I would imagine, marriage is great if you marry the right person. But boy, if you don't, you'll have yourself a mess. And relationships ain't something I really talk a lot about. Just because of my experiences and the things that, you know, I've seen and where I'm at and the season I'm in. But I believe that God's in control. And I was talking to a friend of mine, well, their family, about this the other day, and they were saying that they really believe that we go and we make our choices. We go and we'll pick somebody. We'll marry them. And it wasn't who God had for us. We'll go and we'll mess up, you know. And I remember hearing, who was it? I think Steve Harvey. I just love him. I think he's hilarious. But he was telling a woman about that. Or it was a story, and he said this woman was seeing this man who was married, and he kept telling her he was going to leave his wife. And she finally, somehow, it clicked with her, and she left, and the restaurant they had been going to, the waiter that worked at this restaurant and waited on them had been waiting on her to open her eyes and get it, and he swooped right in there and was the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she kept wasting time on this fool that was, you know, lying, playing her and stuff, you know, like some people do. And she was missing out on something great because she just didn't want to let go. And I think a lot of times we're that way with life, relationships, all kinds of stuff. We don't want to let stuff go. And me, I've held on to things a lot longer than I should because I hate to invest. I hate to invest myself and my time in something and it go to waste. But man, there's doors sometimes that need to close, chapters that you need to turn the page, and the next one is so much better. Next chapter is so much better. So maybe today you need to sit down, think a little bit, calm down, get out of your emotions, and maybe you need to turn the page. And I just did that without spraying my stuff. Getting me distracted. So maybe that's something to think about. Turn the page. I really should have done this before I did my bangs. Listen, this is the fun part. The mascara. Ugh. That's how I feel about it. But if I don't, I kind of look like I don't have any. I'm not putting on fake ones. I'm not doing that. I think that's nutty. But you do you, boo-boo. Turn the page. Get out of your emotions, calm down, and maybe realize, that you need to turn the page. Y'all go have a good day.